Alright guys, how's it going? Welcome back. Well, today you join me as I go to pick up a VW Golf that I've just bought for £500. Sounds cheap, doesn't it? I bought this from a car trader who's just picked it up from a local main dealer. It was one of their parts exchanges. I bought a package of half a dozen cars, and to be honest, this was the one that I didn't really want. But when you buy a package of cars like that, sometimes you've got to take the rough with the smooth. I just thought for £500 there might be a couple £100 profit in this. I haven't seen it yet, but I'm hoping this just needs a quick trip to the car wash, and there might be a couple £100 profit in it for me. I'm not a big fan of the Mark V Golf. I love the Mark IV diesel, but the Mark V I just thought was rubbish. Really poor quality compared to the previous generation. They just always seem to break on me. They've always got a noisy, rattling flywheel. They've always got rusty front wheel arches, and there's always some sort of electrical fault. I just think they're absolute garbage. I bought one of these a few years ago for my brother's 21st birthday. It'd come in part exchange, so I did the cam belt, did a service on it, all that sort of stuff to make sure that he had a decent, reliable car. And it was anything but. He had loads of trouble with it. It had this weird fault where it just cut out randomly for no reason with no warning, and then you couldn't restart it. I must have taken it to every mechanic in the Northwest and nobody could get to the bottom of it. In the end, I had to sell it for spares and repairs. The other thing is, even though in your mind they're very popular cars, they never seem to sell quickly. I'm always stuck with them. Every single time I get one in stock, it just becomes part of the furniture. It's weird. Anyway, with this one at just £500, I'm hoping that I can't go too far the wrong way. We'll soon find out, won't we? Right, I'll see you there. Well, we're here. What a boring car. It's in a very dull shade of blue. It's got wheel trims. Just looks dull. I think we're going to struggle to stay awake for this one, guys. It is an S model because it's got wheel trims rather than alloy wheels. The fact that I know things like that really troubles me. The headlamps need a buff. It's from Scotland originally. It's got an S plate and it's got quite rusty screws. The wing looks completely rotten on that side, and it's even worse on the driver's side. Look at the state of that. But it looks like it's had recent tyres actually. I mean, I suppose, what do you want for £500? If that stops and starts, then it'd do somebody, wouldn't it, for a year or so? Let's see if there's any MOT on it then. Right, let's do a vehicle history check. So as always, I'm going to go to carvertical.com. It's really easy to use this. All you need to do is type in the vehicle reg, which is Sierra Yankee 07 Mike Kilo Foxtrot. It's currently checking database in dozens of countries. It just checks to make sure that it's never been stolen, never been involved in any accidents, not wanted by the police, checks to see if there's any outstanding finance on it, all that sort of stuff. And it's really important that you do one of these checks before you buy a used car. If you'd like to do one of these vehicle history checks yourself, and I urge you to do so before you hand over any of your hard-earned cash, click the link below in the video description and use the promo code HIGHPEAK and you'll get 10% off each and every vehicle check that you do. It's not expensive and it shows you all sorts of stuff. If, for example, it has been involved in an accident, sometimes there are photographs of the damage. I just can't think of another system that does that. Right, and we've got the report back. So, no mileage fraud was disclosed by the report, it's never been stolen, never been involved in any accidents, and there's no outstanding finance, so we're all clear. It was manufactured in January 2007. It had maintenance in February 07. That was its first PDI. Then it was registered in the UK in March 07. Then it had maintenance in 09. That's the other good thing with Car Vertical. Sometimes it shows you the car's service history as well. It had more maintenance in 09. Had its first MOT in 2010. Change of owner. Then it had another inspection, another inspection, another inspection. Let's see if there's any current MOT. That's the most important thing, isn't it? Okay, right. So, it was inspected in April 22. What are we in now? January 23. So there's 3 months MOT left. But you'd think, looking at that car, there'd be a long list of advisory items, wouldn't you? There are none. Passed with no advisory items. Straight away, I'm a bit suspicious of that. Let's see what the mileage is. So at the last MOT, the mileage was 107. That's not particularly high, is it? I was expecting that to have done 160, 170. Looking at the state of it anyway. But no, it's done 4, 5, 6,000 miles a year. Okay. As of today, the estimated mileage is 113. It's never been involved in a recorded accident. Okay, right, that is... that makes sense. It's a petrol, 1.6 petrol, FSI. So it's a 2007 VW Golf hatchback, 1.6. Engine power is 85 kilowatts. Front wheel drive, right hand drive, 4-cylinder, engine code BLF. It's only an S model, which is the base spec, so it shows you the spec that it's got. So for example, steel wheels, big option. No special edition, standard paint coating. Battery, right hand drive, Oh yeah, it's got it all. To be fair, it's got air conditioning. Climatic. Right, let's go and have a look around it then. Okay. Actually, thinking about it, it's another cold day. This calls for my jacket there. Straight away then, let's talk positives. We've got 2 keys, which is unusual for a car of this age and value. The bodywork isn't great. It looks like someone's fired a load of golf balls at that back panel. It's peppered with little dents. Oh, we've got a tow bar. It's been pulling something. Won't be an awful lot with a 1.6 litre petrol engine. It's got its original Arnold Clark plate on the back. What tyre have we got? We've got a... What brand is that? Oh, a Uniroyal. They're a decent brand actually, Uniroyal. That's on about 4mm of tread. With the VW trims. More damage here, more damage up here. Oh, more damage here. Hasn't been a loved car this, has it? The bog base spec doesn't even get painted wing mirrors. They're black plastic. And look at the state of that wing. There's nothing there at all, no resistance. I think if these are anything like the Mark IV, they had sponge behind there, and of course the sponge would soak up any moisture or water, and then it would just rot from the inside out. But I think not many people know this, but I think you could get that done for free as a recall. I think VW did like a 10-year paint guarantee, but hardly anybody knew, so nobody did it. On the front here, have we got another? Oh, we've got a Yokohama. Someone's put decent tyres on this. That's on about 4mm as well. Those headlamps will buff back for sure. I always say this, but a fresh set of plates would transform that. Can you visualise that with a fresh set of plates and buffed headlamps? It's not going to win any prizes, but it would look a bit tidier. Have we got a matching Yokohama here? Oh, we do. That wheel arch, you can hear it, can't you? It isn't as bad as the other side, but it's still a bit grim. Just wants a very good clean down this side and buff. More damage here. This has had roof bars on it and they've clamped them up so tight that they've damaged this bit here. You can see where the outline of the roof, maybe roof box, like a detected now, but if it's had a tow bar and a roof box, perhaps these were outdoorsy kind of people. And we've got a matching Uniroyal on the back with about 5mm of tread, sorry, not trim. Well, it's been well shod. It actually doesn't look too bad, does it? I mean, I could criticise it, but for £500 it's not that bad, is it? Let's have a look inside then. Central locking works. Okay, what have we got? We've got original mats. It smells a bit. Can't quite put my finger on that. It smells sort of metallic, like when you enter like a welder or fabricator's yard. It's very grubby, wants a good clean. I think the first job with this is to run it to my local car wash. Spend £20 to get them to give it a mini valet, because this is quite dirty. It's a 6-speed manual. Like I say, because it's the S, you've got a plastic steering wheel, which always seems to deteriorate. That one hasn't gone too bad yet. In the back, we've got more original mats. It doesn't look like it's been a kiddie abused thing, this, because you can't see the indentations of any car seats. I'm guessing this has been owned by somebody maybe slightly more mature. Always quite like that. The boot releases. Are they the... what's that? I know what that'll be. That'll be the metal bar that someone's had to remove to fit the tow bar. The strengthening piece. It's all nice and original. Well, we've got the parcel shelf there. This isn't the end of the world, is it? Let's have a look under the bonnet. Hell, that's stiff. We've got heated mirrors, electric windows on the front, fuel door works. Ah, Bosch wiper blades. And for some reason, I cannot get under the bonnet. Right, scrap that idea. I can't open the bonnet. Wanted to check the oil, really, make sure that it wasn't all mayonnaisey. Yeah, this is very dirty, this. But with a £20 mini valet, I do it myself, but I don't have the time. Ah, right. We've got a detachable Pioneer stereo there with an auxiliary point, what everybody wants. Air conditioning. This isn't half bad, is it? The seats look quite clean. Let's have a look at the service history then. See if it's got any. I bet this starts off really good, and then by the time it was probably 6 or 7 years old, I bet it just fades away. Okay, what have we got? Serviced in 2009 at, Inverness. That's a nice part of the world. Another one, Arnold Clark in Stretford, Manchester. Somebody doesn't know which way the stamp goes. Arnold Clark there, Manchester again, Manchester. That's good then. So it's only been in Scotland for the first 2 or 3 years, because usually Scottish cars are quite rotten. You get worse weather up there. Okay, still VW. More VW there. Yeah. Actually, I think that's that's not official VW, that's a VW Audi Specialist. 1718, 2019, 2020, and then 21 and 22. Some imbecile there, redlining some remapped Croc. Well, it's got full service history, which is good, isn't it? Wasn't really expecting that. Somebody has actually looked after this. Not cosmetically, obviously. Shall we drive it then? Before it goes dark. Let me just lock my car. This really irritates me about Range Rovers. You've got to get really close to the keyless door thing before it'll let you lock it. I've got to get the key out of my pocket. What's the point of it being keyless? Right, we've done 113,000 miles. We've got a DAB station here. Well, they're quite good at Popmaster, but I don't have a clue who that is. The blow motor's a bit noisy. Bit of a grumble there. Right, let's fire her up then. No warning lights. Let's put my belt on and not do a rishy. Well, the clutch feels nice and soft, nice and easy. I think, this car might have just been looked after by a normal person. We've got half a tank of fuel, for example, and it's been serviced every single year. Apart from the cosmetics, which are poor, this actually drives very, very well. Straight away, I've only driven it 300 yards and I can tell. It feels tight. Got some rattles here. Nobody's going to let me go, are they? Well, I was expecting several warning lights, and they're not there. I was expecting to be fair, I was expecting a diesel, so I was expecting a juddering dual mass flywheel. Apart from the nasty front wings, this could actually do somebody for the next year or two. If it's been maintained well, as the service history suggests, the tyres are good, the wiper blades are good, there's no reason this shouldn't pass another MOT. Wonder if it's ever had its cam belt done. Can't remember whether the 1.6 was a belt or a chain. I think it's a belt. Yeah, I think what I'm going to do with this is run it down to my car wash and get them to clean it for me. I think then I might buff the headlamps, order a new set of plates for it, and then maybe try and get it through an MOT. I'm not sure. Wonder if I could find some replacement wings on eBay. Be handy if I could get them in the same colour, wouldn't it? Does drive very well, this. Based on its appearance, I was really expecting this to drive really poorly. I was expecting it to be loose and sloppy. and knock over bumps. And it doesn't. The old 1.6 litre VW petrol engine isn't the most powerful. It sounds alright. Exhaust isn't blowing. I think I've done alright here, which is purely luck. It isn't ability, trust me. This could have been an absolute nail. I think there's a little bit of life left in it and a little bit of profit. Let me go and drop this off at the car wash and I'll catch up with you later. In fact, it might be tomorrow now because it's starting to go dark. It's just letting me know that it's dropped below 4 degrees. I thought it was an engine light or something. Standard VW bong of doom there. Alright guys, well we're back. I haven't done an awful lot to this to be honest, but the few things I have done have made a big difference. Firstly, I took it down to the local car wash and I spent £20 having a wash and vac, and it has transformed it. It was very grubby before, but it's actually cleaned up really well. I ordered some new registration plates for it because the old ones were a state. And as I always say, they've immediately lifted it. I fitted those myself, I'll have you know. The next job, if you remember, the headlamps were quite crusty. They looked quite old. They'd gone all yellow and faded. So I got my little Milwaukee buffing tool out. I put a squirt of cutting compound on them and I buffed them up myself. That only took me 5 or 10 minutes and it just took off that top layer of yellowness. They look really bright now. No doubt they'll be much better at night too. And that's it. I haven't done any body work. I had a look on the internet and I found 2 wings in primer for £60 each. So I could have got those, painted them and then fitted them, but there's more damage with this car. And with something like this, of this value, it just isn't worth spending the money on. Okay, I could have done the wings, but then we'd have still been left with the rust patches on the roof and the scratches on the doors. I decided it wasn't really worth the hassle, which is a shame really, because mechanically, it's obviously been looked after really well. It's been serviced every year, as I saw in the service book, but I've actually got through the logbook now and the other service receipts, and someone spent quite a lot of money on this. And you can tell because it drives really well. There are no knocks or squeaks or rattles, it's really solid. Whilst I was working on this, I took a phone call from a friend of mine who said that his mate had just had his car fail its MOT, so he needed something quickly, something cheap and cheerful just to last him a few months. So I thought, this Golf could be perfect actually. Apart from the ropey bodywork and the wings, which are like a piece of Swiss cheese, I do have some faith in this car. Mechanically, anyway. I've agreed to sell it to him for £650 and he's collecting it tonight, so it does leave me with a little profit. Now, I spent £20 on the wash and vac, I spent £500 on the car, and I spent £12 on some fresh number plates. That means my total profit's about 120 quid. Better than losing money, isn't it? Had I replaced the wings and got it through a fresh MOT, I'm pretty sure I could have got £1,500 for it. Oh well, c'est la vie. It's nice to be nice, isn't it? The guy that's buying it I've only met a couple of times, so I don't know him particularly well, but I do know that he likes to tinker around with cars. So it might be that he can tidy up the bodywork himself, then he's got a pretty good car for the next year or two. That was my theory anyway. So thank you once again for watching. Make sure you give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't done already. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I'll leave the link below. If you've got any comments or questions, let me know below and I'll do my best to get back to you. So yeah, cheers guys. See you next time.